I'm Jake Bruton with Aarow Building, and today on the Build Show Network, I want to talk to you about retaining employees and why you're going to lose employees. Let's do it now. So let's start the conversation where any employer-employee relationship starts, the hiring process. I think that this is one of the most important ways that you can guarantee that you're not going to have to live without employees or that you're going to suddenly lose employees and things like that is hiring. So my company, we are a 5-person company. We have 2 owners, a project manager, an office manager, and a carpenter. That's 5 people. If one of those people leaves, we're gonna have a problem. So the hiring process needs to be involved in the employee retainage process because the impact is enormous. And by the way, I think the majority of construction companies in the United States qualify as a small business under 5 employees. I read that a couple years ago in an article about our industry, and it kind of blew my mind, like, oh yeah, I own a small business. I hadn't considered it, but the majority of the subcontractors that I work with would be classified as small businesses as well. We are a small business industry. Retaining employees becomes much more important in a small business industry. Obviously, it's important in any business. So that hiring process, where do we start? We start by, number one, I'm not gonna offer you a job if you say, oh, I'm willing to quit today and I can be to work for you tomorrow. Why? Because I don't want you to do that to me. That would be the worst possible thing for me to have happen, is an employee say, hey, I got another job offer in 2 hours at the end of the day. That's the last time I'm gonna work for you. Can I go ahead and unload all my tools now? Like, that is not a professional mentality. That is not a professional setting. We are a professional company. We hire professionals to be part of our team, and we expect you to act as a professional. So if you demonstrate that before I've even hired you, I'm assuming that you're not going to be a good fit for our crew. I want you to have enough respect for the current company that you're working for, even if you don't want to work there, to still act as a professional, which is super important. It's professionalism ahead of other things. Also, on the most basic of level, even if you don't want to give them 2 weeks, the idea that you understand that you should want to give them 2 weeks, and you would be willing to say that to me, like, oh, I need, it'd really be fair to them to give them 2 weeks. Even if you were going to quit and then take 2 weeks before you started working for another company, you at least understand the game enough to understand that it is about impressions and you're trying to make a good impression on the person hiring you. Obviously, I don't want someone lying to me, but I do look at it that way. I need someone who understands what we're doing and what professionalism looks like. So the process of retaining employees starts with hiring. All the other criteria, you have to have those items in your brain before you interview someone. You have to say, I'm willing to hire this person if they have X, Y, and Z. These are the things that I'm specifically looking for in an applicant. These are the skill sets and the job description that we're looking to fill. So you're going out there with a specific thing in mind and making it clear to the person that you are hiring of what you are trying to find. And meaning, I can't just put an ad out that says carpenter and then hire somebody that's gonna be installing tile full time. That's not the same thing. I can't tell you I'm hiring you as a carpenter if I'm not hiring you as a carpenter. And if I'm gonna say carpenter, I have to be able to define that to you. So, clear hiring process that includes expectations is huge. And I feel like so much of our industry is like, what were you making at your last job? I can pay you more than that. And that's it. Hey, somebody said you were good at this. Do you wanna come work for me? That's not how we should be hiring. We should be doing a better job. We should be professionals. We should be treating it as a professional thing. And then understanding, after we have someone on board, understanding the reasons that people generally leave. Obviously, you could be unhappy for any number of reasons in any position, in any company, in any job, in any industry. However, I do think that there are 3 that apply more to our industry than some others. Number 1 is behavior of coworkers, the team you work with, or your supervisor. There are lots of opportunities in any industry to be inappropriate. For some reason, the job site has wanted to encourage people to be inappropriate for so long. I think that it has a slight military idea where we're in this together, so we bond over dirty jokes or whatever it is. But you have to understand that that behavior can be inappropriate, and that if you're trying to build a team, you have to have a team that is going to mesh well with everyone else on the team. So I'm not saying that we can't have a sense of humor, that we can't be friends. What I'm saying is we have to have guidelines for what is appropriate and what isn't appropriate. Everyone needs to follow it. But then also, when it comes to this idea of behavior, there are big tempers and big personalities in our industry, as with any industry. But for some reason, the construction industry pushes big personalities and doesn't necessarily tell people that they can no longer have a big personality. You have to understand what the group that you're working with is. You have to hire people that are going to mesh with your crew. I've brought in employees before that were very quiet and very meek and did not fit with some of the more boisterous and aggressive members of our team at the time. And it was clear that while everyone could do their job, people weren't comfortable, and we had to make changes to our team. And if I would have been a better boss at the time, and I would have recognized personality quicker and more accurately, we wouldn't have had staffing issues where we had to move people around to different teams and things like that. So understanding the environment that you're hiring someone to be involved in. So clear expectations of the job, understand the environment that they're going in. I would say that my number 2 in this category is time with your family, time off, the ability to not work 70 hours a week. That's the easiest way you want to look at it. So my generation and generations younger than us put more value, in my experience, in family time, in free time, in having flexibility. So having written handbook that shows here's the amount of time that you can take off, having clear expectations for time off, sick days, family leave, things like that, and catering. You don't want to work more than 40 hours a week. You want a 40-hour-a-week job that will pay your bills and make the money that you're trying to make. Why make it a 90-hour-a-week job unless that's what you want? Let's treat our employees the same way. They're signing on for 40 hours a week. Let's give them 40 hours a week and then have a clear expectation that the rest of the week is their time. And I will say that our firm has even went to, and maybe I should make a video about this in the future, our firm has gone to a 4-day work week. So we work 4 10s, and right now our current staff, that works great. We're still open 5 days a week. My project manager Brad and I flip-flop which day that we're on. So when on my day off, Brad's working, and on his, I'm on, giving us a 5-day open job site. But we're open on the job sites a little more. It's given us better flexibility with our clients. It's also given the employees and myself 4-day weekend, 2-day weekend, 4-day weekend, which is amazing. And it didn't cost me anything. It actually saves us money because we have 1 less day a week that we're doing carpenter cleanup and packing and unpacking tools and things like that. So it's made us more productive. So understanding personal time and the boundaries of that, and kind of catering to a younger generation with that. I think that that's important. The third reason that I think most people leave is that opportunity. And opportunity might seem like a strange way to say it, but I mean opportunity from a financial standpoint or responsibility or any combination thereof. There are other opportunities with other companies, and most of those start with, hey, I'll pay you a lot more money than what that company's paying you. And so we have to understand what a fair rate is, and understand that while I had a builder tell me one time that his job was to pay his employees as little as they would be happy with. And while on some front, that's true for most businesses, the goal of the company is to pay as little as what their employees will be happy with. But I think once you realize that your employees are the key to your success, that mentality goes out the door immediately, and it becomes, what do I need to be compensating these people for in order to make sure that they are happy and that they are in a financial situation where they wouldn't think about going someplace else. So traditionally, we pay slightly better than the rest of the market in our market. It works. I get to retain quality people. So thinking about your employees not as a lowest common denominator or not as a how little can I pay them and get them to stay around, but rather thinking about, what do I need to do to make sure that this person is going to be happy long term and financially successful, because that's what we're doing. We're making a financial agreement. I think another way that employees get lost in the system and want to move on is by a hierarchy system, as in, you know, this is our project manager, this is our lead carpenter, this is a carpenter. That carpenter is, now it's fine to yell at that carpenter. It's fine to ask them to do all of the garbage stuff on the job. Now it's fine to send them to go pack materials by themselves. Now it's, you know, they're the carpenter, they're the grunt, they're here for that. While there certainly are tasks that warrant different skill levels, and some people there will be days where someone's digging a ditch, it also is completely reasonable, in my opinion, to share the burden across the company, to make sure that no one feels as if they are only on the job to get crapped on and to only do the worst jobs ever, and to build a team that encourages even the lowest person on the totem pole to want to learn, and encouraging them to bridge out from their base level. That does mean that we're working side by side. That does mean that, you know, the project manager may have tool bags on and may give a 45-minute tutorial and do the first one together and then let somebody else do it. But it also means that there's a respect for the low person on the totem pole, a mentorship, if you will. We have a crew that we work with from time to time. They have one new guy on their crew that is, inexperienced. And I hear them yell at him, and I hear them say, go get me this, go get me that. And while it serves really well for their company to have him around, I'm certain that he is not invested in that company the way everybody else in the company is, and that if push comes to shove, he would move someplace else fairly quickly probably, and find someplace where he is treated with respect and where someone is willing to help him move forward. Along those same lines, all of our trainings that are building science, structural, code related, or just skill and technique related involve everyone that works in the field for the company. So obviously our office manager is not involved, but everyone else, if you own a tool bag and you use that tool bag for Aarow Building, and we're going to have a building science training, or we're going to watch something online about how we're going to accomplish something, they all are involved. Everyone is invested. I'm invested in everyone being better than they were at the beginning of the day. I always have this weird conversation with builders when they see me taking an employee to a trade show, and they're like, how can you afford to bring this person to the trade show? Like, shouldn't they be at the office working? Shouldn't they be on a job site working? And I always think, like, how are you expecting? You expect to go there and learn something and come back better. That's the reason you're involved in going to the trade show in the first place. Why wouldn't it apply to your employees who should probably know less than you? Why shouldn't you be trying to raise the bar company-wide? Because if they're better, you're better. If you're better, you can be more profitable. You can tackle more interesting projects. You can, whatever it is, you'll be more successful if your employees are more successful. So this idea of, like, keep them dumb, just show them the base minimum of what they need to know. Just educate them and encourage them to be better, and they will, and it'll benefit you in the long run. And if they do, after all of this, decide to leave, you've educated someone enough that maybe they'll be a subcontractor for you. So I have 12 people in my market that have business licenses that I use as subcontractors from time to time. And that's because we've encouraged everyone to learn and be better, and we foster an environment that is learning oriented and success oriented. So I think that there's a lot to unpack there. It's just a very philosophical conversation, but on the most basic of level, it's treating everyone with respect and making sure that they understand that you respect them, and encouraging them to do better and trying to educate everyone to do better. Small businesses lose employees, and it makes a huge impact. If you've thought about how you're going to handle it beforehand, and you hire and employ people with the idea that you don't want to lose them and that they are irreplaceable, then the success of your company will hopefully, as mine has, really move itself forward. So thanks for watching today on The Build Show from the truck. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram. Don't forget to subscribe to the newsletter. You get an email every Friday from Mr. Reisinger himself, letting you know all the cool stuff that you should be looking at this week. Wade Paquin, Brent Hull, Steve Basic, Matt Reisinger, and myself are all putting up new content. Make sure you check it out every week. There is cool stuff to learn, and there are a lot of fun things that are very educational coming from us as well that I can't wait to share with you. So thanks for watching on The Build Show. Hire for success.